The Seventh Tower by Garth Nix. Book 1, The Fall. Chapter 15. Tal had expected the ice-carls to bring the sunstone down to him, but the crone explained that they only did that when the ship was anchored. They needed the sunstone's light to see any dangers that might lie ahead. When Tal refused to climb, Mila took special delight in describing exactly what a merwin was, and Tal's chances of surviving a meeting with one. "Most merwin are about 10 times as long as you are tall," she said. "They have a single shining horn that sticks out the front between their eyes. See Kral over there? That sword of his is a baby merwin's horn. They stop glowing once they're dead. Now, the merwins slide over the ice faster than you'd be able to run because their skin is so slick, and they've got 4 big flippers to push themselves along. Mostly they stick their horn to whatever they're after, and then they bash it up and down on the ice. You'd be better off fighting me. All you have to do is ask. If you ask to fight me, the crone will let you." Tal ignored her. He didn't understand why she was so keen to fight him, but he knew that the crone would protect him as long as he fixed the sunstone. "I'll need my shadow guard," he said. "I need it to help me climb and fix the sunstone." The crone looked at him again with those creepy, glowing eyes. Then she said, "No, you don't." Tal sighed. He didn't really absolutely need his shadow guard, but he felt very strange without it nearby, dizzy and sick to his stomach. Climbing the mast would be 10 times as hard without the shadow guard, even if it just followed him like a normal shadow. "Mila will help you climb up," said the crone. "I will not!" exclaimed Mila. "He's a lying thief! I cannot believe his talk of hundreds of lights in this castle thing." The crone turned her gaze to the girl and said, "You wish to be a shield maiden, Mila, but you won't follow orders?" The threat was clear. Tal didn't know what a shield maiden was, but Mila obviously really wanted to be one, and the crone had the power to stop her. Mila turned to Tal with a murderous scowl on her face, and said, "All right. Start climbing, thief." "My name is Tal Graile-Rerem," Tal said. "I shall permit you to call me Tal. And even if I was a thief, you don't have anything I'd want to steal." At least, he told himself he wasn't a thief as far as the ice-carls were concerned. "Cow, smal, bow, wow, whatever you call yourself, I don't suppose you can climb a line, so we'll have to go up the mast itself." She pointed at the spikes that were stuck into the mast every stretch or so. Tal went over and put his foot on one, testing its strength. Then he reached up and started to climb. The mast appeared to be a single bone of some kind, though Tal couldn't imagine what kind of monster would have a backbone 40 stretches long. And the handholds weren't spikes, as he'd thought. They were smaller bones that had been sawn off. Once they would have been like the bones of a fish, curving out from the backbone. "Hurry up!" called Mila from below. Tal ignored her. The mast was swaying, and the ship and the ice seemed a long way down. For some weird reason, it was scarier than when he climbed the Red Tower, though that was hundreds of times as high. Perhaps it was because there was no shadow guard to save him. Mila kept harassing him all the way to the top, calling out and trying to crowd him. Tal focused his mind on climbing, and ignored her. Finally, Tal came to the sunstone. It was held to the top of the mast by what seemed like large, curved teeth that were somehow bonded to the bone. The stone was so bright Tal had difficulty looking at it without his shadow guard to automatically shield his eyes. Mila fell silent as they approached the stone. She also stopped several stretches below, instead of crowding Tal as she'd done all the way up. Her head was bowed. Clearly she couldn't stand the brightness of the sunstone, not this close. This high up the mast, Tal had the strange illusion that he was still, and it was the ship and the ice below that swung from side to side like a pendulum. Each time the world swung by, Tal had to fight back the feeling that he was going to fly off into space. To make it even worse, he had to let go of one of his handholds to touch the sunstone. It was a powerful stone, but Tal knew it was also very old. Sunstones did wear out eventually, and had to be taken up to a tower to be revitalized above the veil. Making sure he had a good grip with his left hand, Tal reached out and touched the sunstone. He could feel the currents of power within it. Just as he learned in the lectorium, Tal closed his eyes and focused his thought upon the sunstone. As he'd thought, it badly needed tuning. What power it had left was working against itself, rather than together. The energy bands needed to be realigned, brought back into harmony. Tal carefully let go of the big sunstone and reached into his shirt to pull his own sunstone out. It brightened as he focused upon it, to find the correct pattern of energies and project it at the ice carl's sunstone. It was hard work with the wind all around, and the mass swaying, and his stomach suddenly deciding it didn't like the crone's warming cordial after all. But Tal did it. A beam of pure light shot out of his sunstone, and into the ice carl's larger stone. "I've done it!" exclaimed Tal triumphantly. The ice carl's stone shone bright and true. Then it went out, and so did Tal's own stone, leaving him in total darkness, save the faint green glow of the moth lamps on the deck far below.